All right, so we're going to make a very simple function and then we will build on it with each subsequent video. So in the moment, I have a very basic start of a program, not doing anything fancy yet. In fact, it's not doing anything at all yet. And I have some comments that say we're going to write some code that's demonstrate what a function is and how to use it. All right, so let me get started. I'm going to put some space between my comment and this int main. Now, up to this point, we've put everything inside this int main. And we're going to see very quickly that this, in fact, is a function. But I'll get to that in a little bit. So let's write our first function and then see how we're going to use it. So for now, we're just going to get used to the word void, and we'll understand what void is soon enough. But for now, I'm just going to call my function greeting. So usually a function is, you give a function a name, that's just like a variable name. So instead of saying int and then a variable name, we're calling this function greeting. And usually we try to use a verb that describes what's going to happen inside that chunk of code. For now, we're going to use this open and close parentheses, and we'll see what that does soon enough as well. And then we have the opening and closing curly braces. Now, we've seen this kind of syntax when we've done while loops or if conditions, so it's kind of the same thing. The idea here is that everything inside of these curly braces are going to run as part of this function. So in other words, with my example of the car, everything that makes the car work, everything under the hood, all the things that make the car run that I really don't personally know anything about, is statements within this function. And the idea is that main can call greeting, and greeting will just do its thing, and main doesn't really care how or why it does it. So let me give you some more examples. Let me just keep on going with that. So I'm going to write cout hello, or let's do a greeting, a proper greeting, aloha, which makes sense to me. And then we're going to do an end out. All right, so what we've done right now is we've just placed a function. In other words, we have set in memory, not a variable this time, but an entire chunk of code that we can access anywhere in main anytime we want. And so it is a series of statements. It's a combination of statements that are set inside in memory that we don't have to deal with, or we need to invoke is the word I'm looking for in order to make it work. In other words, if I run this program right now, nothing's going to happen. And you'll see that my screen comes up, went away, nothing happened, because everything that runs is run from within the main. And so all the program knew to do is it set aside a place in memory for a function called greeting. I don't know what that means. I'm the little compiler. I'm just going to ignore it for now. I'm going to do everything in the main, and the main simply says return 0, and then nothing happened. So in order to use this code, we have to do what's called invoke, or call it, which means that I'm going to type the name of the function, which is greeting, and put the open and close curly brace, open and close parentheses. This is how you say, hey program, go and find in memory that thing called greeting and run all of the code that you find inside that greeting. When you're finished, then return back to me. In other words, let's do this. cout, I'm finished. Okay, and so what we're going to see when we run this is the program is going to hit the word greeting. That's a function call. It's going to go into this function, run all the lines inside of that function, so it's going to print out aloha, return back to where it called that function, and then continue on, and then we should see I'm finished displayed. So let's see if that happens. So I'm going to run it, and you can't see it because it's off screen, so let me pull it over. And that's exactly what happened. The word aloha printed first, and then I'm finished ran. And so if I were to put greeting again after here, then the same thing's going to happen. The program's going to say I'm going to run greeting, I'm going to cout aloha, then I come back, I'm going to cout I'm finished, and then I need to go back into greeting and do all of those things that are in greeting. So let's just run that and see if that works. And so it's off screen again. There we go. So aloha, I'm finished. I didn't have an end line there, so then it put aloha in again. So this is the starting of us creating a function that we can call anytime we need to within our main. It doesn't run unless we call it, but if we call it, then the program is going to stop doing whatever it was doing, go run that code, come back to where it came from, and then continue on. Go run the code, finish the code, come back to where it came from, and then finish the code.